Herbivore. 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 Good morning. What's this blinking camera doing? How is everyone? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Who's in the house? Aslan Fulgor. Good morning, my good people. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. I hope you all are too. Lovely. Angharad is here. Sergeant Angharad. Good morning, everyone, from my mam, Fudge, and I. Do subscribe to Angharad if you've not done so already, or I will be taking names and you'll be dealt with harshly. Sakar, sub G. I sometimes take ghee as a substitute for my B12. That's a very silly idea from my perspective, if you want it. If I stopped again, what are your advices you give me to take note of? Number one, ghee is, I think, the top cause, like the most aggressive driver of heart disease, our number one killer. You're basically just accelerating yourself towards a coronary heart attack. So butter is already like about the worst thing. Beef fat is horrible. Then coconut oil is like next worst. Then butter is next worst. But ghee, clarified butter, which has been highly oxidized, all the LDL is oxidized, it's even worse. It's like a shark's coming towards you, but he's got like a laser beam attached to him as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just wouldn't. I would advise my worst enemy, like, not to eat that stuff. I think per 100 grams, there's about 0.2 micrograms of B12. So, like, you would never eat enough. You need like 50 micrograms at least per day. For under age 65, you need at least 50 micrograms a day. There's 0.2 in 100 grams. Over age 65, you actually need like 1,000 micrograms per day. So you would never physically eat enough to get your B12. And, you know, the more ghee you eat, like the quicker you're going to kill yourself from heart disease, which is the top killer of humans. It's the biggest cause of death in the Western world. That, from my perspective, like that is absolute madness. My advice to you would be to take a B12 supplement, which is what's given to the animals anyway. You're just getting it secondhand. But with all the fat, trans fats and cholesterol that kill us. Great question, Sakar. Aslan, best not to take them as they do not contain... Yeah, supplements, yeah. Starmanas is in the house. Private Starmanas. How you doing, my friend? Good old Alid is here. Aslan tried making date syrup for the first time yesterday and my blender broke down. There's no justice. There's no Foxy Blonde's here. Lovely Foxy Blonde 73. Up in Scotland there. How are you doing, lovely? Thanks for joining again. Good to see you. Squad. Dan is here. Aslan, I vehemently dislike it when non-vegans try to discredit any arguments people make by either attacking an individual personally, ad hominem, the last refuge of the man with no real argument, or by avoiding facts and evidence altogether. Yeah, because if not, they'd be vegan. Vegan Noah in the house. Yo. Richard Benham is in here. Jared Warner. Sup, Paul. Sup, Jared. How you doing, my friend? How's it going? Dan, I sometimes smoke to get oxygen. Yeah. Isn't it? To eat animal products to get nutrients, so, you know, it's like eating mud because you're after the water. You don't need all the shiz that comes with it. Just get the water from the source, like just get the nutrients from the plants. Well said, Gemma. I mean, to be fair, like, we didn't know better, did we? If we knew better, we would have done better. I think. Aslan, Hench, how much fibre does the average person need in a day, and what would that look like in examples? Ideally, as much as you can get down your neck. And like your average ancient man, like Paleolithic man, despite the paleo diet nonsense, and modern tribes people ate and eat, on average, up to 150 grams of fibre per day. I've eaten up to 160, and I'll tell you what that looked like. You know, that was 4 cans of beans, 300 grams of like whole grains, 300 grams of like dried fruit, 120 grams of like nuts and seeds, you know, loads of vegetables, just basically 3 just pasta dishes, like just piled up with food, really. That's what that looks like. And the more fibre you eat, like the lower your all-cause mortality risk, you know, things like stroke, it just goes down. There's no upper limit where more doesn't seem to be more protective. But the only thing is, of course, if you're not used to that amount of fibre, you know, if you've not eaten a lot of fibre historically, your gut microbiome, like the bacteria that you've invited to live in the colon, that they're not going to be able to process it. You're going to have like pathogenic strains, these Bacteroides types, rather than the Prevotella strains that actually, you know, that live off of soluble fibre, resistant starch and polyphenols. Like they're whole foods vegans. That's the linchpin of our health potential, mental and physical. It's predicated on the types of bacteria that live in the colon, and the ones that do any good eat whole plant foods. So what does that tell you about what is our optimal food? Like, it's so obvious. So obvious. I think over time, I mean, it's not really made it properly into the mainstream yet, but over time, you know, stuff about the gut microbiome and, you know, the fact that we really want lots of short chain fatty acids being made, you know, and the way to do that is to eat plants. So I think it's going to come out, you know, in the nutrition world, you know, it's very well known. Can I just say, I had something different for breakfast. I normally have a smoothie, but I wanted a chia pudding and some beans on toast. So I'm having to have a protein shake, and I've had to put my seaweed in here. It's going to be flipping horrible. I've got a teaspoon of amla powder in there as well. This is going to be minging. Why do I do this to myself? I'm so keen on optimizing my nutrition that my shakes taste like the ocean. Not in a good way. Good morning, Stacey Langley. Good to see you, Sergeant Langley. Langley's. Langley. There's a toy shop in Norwich called Langley's in the Royal Arcade. It's like a sort of Elizabethan shopping centre. It's really cool, actually. Vegan Noah, I love your videos. Well, I love you. Thank you for being so kind. Vegan Mooncat. I'm right up in your house. Very good. Welcome, Vegan Mooncat. Guys, do subscribe to the Vegan Mooncat. He's on nearly 1,200 subscribers. Can you be the 1,200th for him? That'll be very good. How you doing, Mark? How's things? I don't think we'll have any childish, stupid questions, Nigel. But if you want to grow up and ask something like sensible, feel free to join in. You know, when you become an adult. Aslan, how do I do find it absolutely bonkers when certain ignorant people actually state that meat contains more nutrients than fruits and vegetables. Yeah, I think that's the narrative. I think probably more people think that than not. But of course, we know the science. Jared, what are good sources for calcium? Also, I listened to a podcast saying we may overestimate. I think the science is countries where they recommend 500 milligrams per day. Is it milligrams? Hang on. I don't want to get anything wrong. Yeah, 500 milligrams per day. They don't seem to have any more instances of, like, you know, osteoporosis, like hip fracture, like none of that malarkey. So it's probably about double already. In recent years in the US, the dairy industry were lobbying to try and get it raised to 1,200. But of course, it's complete nonsense. And dairy comes with a lot of retinol, which actually we need some vitamin A for bone health. Too much weakens bones. And in fact, the countries with the most dairy consumption have the highest instances of hip fracture, which is the number one indicator of bone density. So take that. And dairy calcium is only 30% bioavailable. So people say plant foods are not bioavailable. Well, don't have dairy then. You only get 30% of the calcium from that. That's shockingly low compared with what you get from plant foods. So you just shot yourself in the foot. Lolly's in the house. Good to see you. Owen Samurai's in the house. Morning, fellas. I like them swords. With my wife Vicky today. We shall know, henceforth, Vicky shall be known as Vicky the Viking and Owen Samurai. I hope she's not unhappy with that. I'd be well pleased if someone said I was a Viking. That would really make my day. Lolly, Hench, I would like to improve my debating skills to defend veganism and plant-based diet. Where would you suggest best resources for facts, nutrition, info, studies, etc.? Any tips? I would study people like Earthling Ed for the ethical stuff. I mean, watch all the documentaries. Try to commit all the facts and figures to memory. So places like Cowspiracy website, they have their infographics and their FAQ thing. That's really good. For nutrition stuff, I like nutritionfacts.org. But me and Gemma are dropping our online nutrition course. Hopefully tomorrow. It all depends how we get on with this. We're speaking to some kind of expert today on how to just get all the websites to talk, because we've got one platform where we're advertising the course and taking payments, another where they're hosting it, and we need MailChimp for emails, and we've got to get that all integrated. And yeah, we're a bit clueless. We've been struggling for ages, so we've hired a professional. So hopefully we'll have our course out maybe by tomorrow, but certainly by the end of the week. And that's basically my 10 years of or nine and a bit years of all the nutrition stuff I know about veganism, all Gemma's cooking skills and how to action it. Just in one succinct course, there's a chart of nutrition requirements by age and stage of life and all that. I think that would be a good resource, but certainly you could do it. You can do it all off of free stuff for sure. Just watch the documentaries. I'll tell you a good book. Davis and Molina, Becoming Vegan. That basically is the Bible of vegan nutrition, really. I mean, I'm not the greatest debater. It's not something I really enjoy. But just people like Joey Carbstrong, Earthling Ed. It's just really learning the facts about, I'm not too clued up on ethics or environment. My wheelhouse is sports nutrition and health. Just look at whoever's doing it well and kind of model them, I guess, is what I would say. And good luck. That's very cool. Good on you. That's what we need in the world. Foxy Blonde, trying to watch from out in the fields. Can't see a thing, but I can listen. You're walking your dog? Very nice. And what is your dog's name? Alid, I've decided I can't do activism. I get too annoyed at people who refuse to acknowledge the benefits and shove stupid information in your face. Well, there's ways, isn't there? I can't be asked with getting in arguments with people, but I just produce videos. I've had over 6 million video views, and I'm sure a few of those videos have turned people vegan. You don't have to get in arguments, people one-to-one. You can just share resources, just live just live as a positive example, and other people will follow you. And oftentimes you won't even know about it, but you will be making a difference. But yeah, it is frustrating with people. I think we have to go in with the right attitude if we're going to be an activist. And it's not taking things personally. It's not thinking that you've got to turn people vegan on the spot, because that really happens. And it's just being a positive role model, planting seeds, sharing resources, and not getting emotionally invested in it to the point where you start arguing with people, because at that point they shut down. They just think, oh, vegans are like argumentative idiots, and I don't want to be associated with these sorts of people. So it's just try to keep your ego out of it, and just thinking of the animals, and just, someone like Earthling Ed, like, farmers are really angry and giving it the big end, and he's just calm in their face, and he's so eloquent and chilled. And I've seen him talking farmers round. The minute you bite and you take offence and, get angry, you've lost. And not everyone is capable of that. And I'm certainly one of those sorts of people. If someone's rude to me, like the old me, like, is in the background there thinking, like, how dare you? Like, well, I won't carry that line of thought on, but yeah, it doesn't do me good to get into arguments. That is one fishy protein shake. Why do I do it to myself? Aslan, what steps would you advise someone who loves to eat eggs and drink milk regularly, trying to get my younger sister and mum to reduce? If not, drop these. My family's a bit set in their ways. Yeah, I think that the motivation needs to be there, and if they're not really feeling it, like, they're probably not going to change, are they? Like, people are too apathetic and just enjoy the things that they already enjoy. But if you could get them to watch Dairy is Scary, or day-old male chicks being thrown into a mincer or like alive. Maybe that could help give the impetus to give it a bit more thought. And then, like, substitutions. Like, there's some delicious vegan cheeses. Mouse's favourite, Tyne cheese, Nutcrafter Creamery. These are actually healthy. They're like cashew-based rather than coconut oil. I love them. Certainly plenty of different milks around, isn't there? But yeah, it's hard if they're not motivated. Then you've got to get people motivated somehow or other. Sort of see what is it that motivates them. Like, would they be more into the health or the ethics or the environment, or and then sort of attack on that route. Lolly, wow, course almost ready. Yep, big weekend. That's so cool. Good luck and congrats. Thank you, and thanks for your advice. Appreciate it, and I appreciate you, you lovely lady. Dan, you sometimes have a whole bunch of software developers in this chat. We'd have been free. Oh, I'm not that clever to put two and two together, I'm afraid. You're very kind, though. Suraj, hi Hench, Nepalese vegan here. Oh, wow. Dal, beans and rice for the win. You know it. You know it. Oh, lovely to meet you, Suraj. And how's the vegan scene in Nepal? I don't think I've ever spoken to a Nepalese person. This is amazing. How great is it to be alive in this day and age? It's bad. I'm just going to try and knock it back a little bit. In case you didn't catch the start of the stream, I've put seaweed in a smoothie, and it's bloody horrible. Yuck. Kelly Horrocks, good to see you, my love. Ella, do you turn me vegan? Good advice, I suppose. I can still try one day. Oh, well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Thanks for saying. Yeah, I mean, just don't do the sort of thing where you're in a one-on-one argument. It's like, there's all ways to advocate, and it don't have to be sort of front line. Whoa, where am I? Lynn French, you eat whole foods plant-based, so is your weekly shop fairly cheap? It varies. Depending on how well we're doing financially, and if we're having a bit of a tight week, it might be super cheap. You know, it might just be frozen veg and sacks of grains and dried lentils and bananas and raisins. And yeah, it's the cheapest food in the world. Normally we're doing a bit better, and I don't know, because I have to eat so much food, I like to eat a good range. I like to eat some sort of specialty stuff, you know, that's a bit more expensive. I like to, you know, as an influencer, you know, I want to show that it's not boring, that you can eat so many different foods. So like Instagram photos, what I eat in a day videos, you know. So, yeah, the answer is it varies wildly based on how well we're doing financially. And but yeah, it can be the cheapest food in the world. It really can. You know, sacks of brown rice, whole grain pasta. You know, it's the cheapest stuff in the world. Morpheus, you lovely person. Our good friend Kylo Ren very generously donated 20 US bucks. That is super kind. Thank you. So this is a quote. The human being is distinguished from the animals, that the animals cannot understand what is God. Just trying to get my head around that. The human being is distinguished from the animals, and that the animals cannot understand what is God. Oh, and humans can. And if the human being also does not understand what is God, then he is an animal. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I can't pronounce that. Right. If a human can't understand what is God, then he is an animal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. What do I know? I think, you know, I'm not a religious person. I don't have a particular faith, like in any set religion, but I keep an open mind. But I do believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I think that animals, you know, non-human animals too are, you know, a similar consciousness, just having an animalistic experience. And I think maybe we are all the universe experiencing itself. And so to hurt another is like you're really hurting yourself. I could be wrong. I mean, this is just my working hypothesis. It could all be a load of old nonsense for all I know, but I do feel like there's more going on than we can see and hear and touch, you know. Oh, Suraj, Hare Krishna founder. Some of my best friends are Hare Krishna, and they are beautiful people, really warm and loving. And what I like is my good friend VJ, he says, he uses the word God, but he also uses the word like nature. He kind of uses them interchangeably, and he says like whatever way you believe, you know, there is like a higher power, and there is kind of like karma, and I can believe it. I can believe it. When I was a doorman, like in a really violent world, you know, no great things really happened to me. The minute I went vegan and then denounced like my life of violence and just did good in the world, suddenly I was being rewarded with amazing opportunities, training with a reigning Mr. Universe, like speaking on the BBC World Service to 166 million people. Like I never had anything like, oh, I did the nutrition plan for the local professional like soccer team captain. Like I had all these wonderful, I was involved in the Game Changers like filming. Like I'd never had any opportunities like that when I just used to, you know, get annoyed with people and hurt them. So, and my friend VJ, I was training him at the time, I was PTing him, and he did say to me like, oh, you've undone your bad karma and now like beautiful things are happening for you. And I don't know, it might just be coincidence. It might be cause and effect. But I like to think that there's more to it maybe, and that the universe rewards good behaviour. Anyway, what do I know? I probably sound like a load of old spiritual mumbo jumbo, and I should probably stick to the science stuff in case there's like skeptics afoot. Anyway, thank you, Morpheus. That's an interesting quote, and that is very kind. I don't know that I like when people divide humans and animals and make animals like lesser like that. that doesn't sit well with me, because I think it's then easier to, to exploit and hurt them. But, that's just my personal feeling, and not to poo-poo anyone's religious beliefs, or, I don't want to cause ill feeling. I just love everyone. And what do I know? What do I know? I may well go to hell because I don't believe in God or whatever. I will feel a bit hard done by, though, that I was given free will and the choice not to believe what I can't see and to demand evidence before and then being punished for it. I'd feel I feel like you set me up to fail there, and this feels a bit unkind. Anyway, whatever. I hope I've not offended anyone now. Sorry. Just know, whatever your beliefs, I have no skin in the game, and I do not think anything about anyone. Just as long as we're not hurting animals unnecessarily. That's the thing that I don't like. Aslan, I've always tried to understand how animals like cats and dogs can be fed vegan alternative food when they're obligate carnivores. That's a bit odd because I don't get how it's not that the dead bodies are obligatory, it's that the nutrients in the dead bodies are obligatory for the animals to eat. And now complete vegan pet foods have those same nutrients that are found in dead bodies, but they're sourced from plants instead. So arachidonic acid, normally that comes from things like chicken and eggs. Well, it's in seaweed as well in small amounts, but they get enough of it. Taurine, DHA, all sourced not from animals but from plants. So it's not like you're feeding your cat salad. You're feeding them carnivorous nutrients, but they've just been sourced from plants instead of animals. It's not obligatory that they eat the bodies. It's obligatory that they eat the nutrients that are found in the bodies. And most of those nutrients either come from plants in the first place, or we can make the animal version from the plant nutrient, beta carotene we make into vitamin A or retinol. And if you look at the science, if anything, a complete vegan cat food is actually beneficial to a cat over their normal food that they're given. All the studies to date, none of it have found a detriment to it. Has to be complete cat food though, complete vegan. It can't be any old rubbish. It can't be a bowl of salad. But either they found a wash, there was no benefit either way to standard cat food or complete vegan cat food. But half of the studies found benefit, and the latest, biggest ever study, it's 1,300 odd animals, and the vegan cats won out in 5 different ways. They had less chance of obesity, less liver or kidney disease, among other things. So there's no reason not to feed a cat complete vegan cat food. And if anything, you're probably doing them a disservice by not, according to the data, and you can check it up. I did a video on it. If you type Hench Herbivore cats, I've done 2 videos to date. The most recent one reported on that study, and you can go and look at it for yourself and make up your own mind. There's a link in the description. Lynn, which plant milk do you prefer? Do you go for fortified ones? I don't typically drink plant milk very often. I would not go for fortified ones. I prefer to get my nutrients, from as nature intended, real organic nutrients, rather than synthetic stuff. When we shotgun nutrients like that, loads of calcium in one go, for instance, can lead to ill health, can trigger heart attacks, can calcify your organs. We're not meant to get big shotgun doses of things, and they're oftentimes synthetic. I'm not a fan of synthetic vitamins and minerals where possible. Obviously we need B12, D3, that's different. If I was to drink a plant milk, I'd typically go for soya, just because it's so high in protein. Other milks tend to be really lacking. I think it's just a bit more nutritious in general. Suraj, Nepal is getting to know veganism. Very good. That's what we like to hear. Good man. Lolly. Chug, 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 Hench. Do it for the animals. Right, that's what I needed to hear. Here we go. Boom. Oh, that's better. Thanks for that. That spurred me on. Siraj, Indian subcontinent is dairy crazy, but people are waking up. That's what we'd like to hear. Aslan, Hench, you did tell me to make my switch from junk and meat to whole foods plant-based slightly, but I've gone junk food vegan because I don't want to be responsible for suffering unnecessarily anymore. Good man. Let's have a round of applause, please, for Aslan. That is freaking brilliant. Is this okay, or am I supposed to make the switch off meat? So the main problem really is if you went 100% whole foods plant-based and suddenly smashed in tons and tons and tons of fibre, because that's where people often fall down. So it's probably fine. I mean, I went like 98% whole foods plant-based, so I didn't have a lot of meat in there. There is some speculation that, because there's sort of meat-based nutrients like carnitine, carnosine, creatine, and you know, we and other animals make them. So if you're eating those exogenously, your own genes will shut down and will stop manufacturing them. So there's some speculation that possibly, if you went completely cold turkey, you stop making these certain nutrients, and it will take a while for the body to like catch on. I mean, it soon will. It'll soon recognise and then start pumping out. Those genes will switch back on, and it'll start pumping out its own meat-based nutrients, as we are meat bodies. But yeah, it could just take a little while for the body to notice. So potentially you could not feel like your best in the interim, possibly, but there's no real hard evidence or data on it. So, and I certainly went like 98% whole foods plant-based, and that was fine. I just had a bit of dysbiosis in the old gut because I smashed in so much fibre that I wasn't used to. So yeah, I make you right, Aslan. I wouldn't worry, in all honesty. And but yeah, just the fibre thing really. Like you don't want to add in too much fibre all in one go. I would take maybe 6 to 8 weeks. By week 8, ideally, if you want optimal health, you will just be eating legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. But yeah, each to their own. You do what you want. If you want to keep some plant-based, you know, more like junky feeds in there, that's up to you, isn't it? But just know it's not as healthful, and you won't feel as good, you know, and you possibly won't live as long, and you know, that sort of thing. But each to their own. Do you know what I mean? As long as people are not eating animals, I'm happy. But I just like to educate everyone so you can make an informed decision of how you want to be in life, like how you want to feel. You know, we all have a different risk reward sort of sense of those, don't we? You know. Aslan, I originally went plant-based as a result of religion. I thought to myself, what God would create innocent animals for us to eat when we're physiologically and psychologically not meant to kill and eat? Yeah, good words. Plant-based parrot. How come when I get into something it loses popularity? I don't know. Maybe it's coincidence. And maybe you're confusing correlation with causation. And making yourself feel bad. Daniel Slama, I believe I've seen your name before. Good morning from the Czech Republic. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Dan, I'm so skeptical that I don't believe in free will, let alone magical beings, spirituality, or karma. Alan does believe in karma. I've seen it in action many times. Stacey, I'm looking into law of attraction and believe it to be true. I do. I think that they often miss out a step, which I'll speak to in a second. I don't believe in organised religion, but I feel very spiritual and believe in a higher power of some sort. what I'm understanding now about law of attraction stuff is, yeah, you need to have that positive intention. But what I'm learning from Joe Dispenza is he's saying that your heart and brain need to be in coherence. So if, say, you want to be abundant with, say, wealth, and you're imagining all this money coming, but you're looking in your purse and you just got like a couple of pennies in there, and you're just not believing it. So that your mind and heart, your brain and heart are not in coherence. And according to him, you need to feel like it's already happening. So in my meditations, I've been working on my confidence in my meditations, and I've just been seeing myself on stage doing celebrity interviews, crowds cheering, me kind of going like this and and he says to feel, how will that feel? And I have been, and I do feel like my confidence is really racking up. But then again, I'm doing more solo live streams, so I'm getting that desensitization thing. I learned from a psychologist lady, it's okay to be anxious and get used to it. Don't feel anxious and then necessarily, it's not that you've got to panic at that point. Know that it's okay to feel anxious and just sit in that and just notice that it doesn't kill you. And then, so that was something else I learned. There was one other thing as well. I was mulling all this over with Gemma, and I've gone on such a tangent now, I just don't know how to pull it back. What were we saying? But anyway, yeah. Have we talked about him before, Stacey, the old Joe Dispenza stuff? He's got a meditation and a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I feel like I'm getting mad benefits from it. But yeah, it's feeling gratitude. He says you can feel gratitude ahead of the act, and then I won't go into all the supposed science of it. I don't know if I'll do it very much justice. Perhaps I need to get Joe Dispenza on for an interview. But I'm loving this stuff. Dan, I think we're calling the same thing two different names. I completely agree that you can give out what you give out, you can get back. I just think it's a social phenomenon rather than a spiritual one. Yeah, the old cause and effect. Yeah, it could well be. What do I know? I'm just open. Stacey Langley, I've been looking into... Oh, no, I just read that. Mark, veganism. Good morning, Hench. What do you think of anti-vaccine and conspiracy theorists? I would rather not get into vaccines, because that just... If I ever talk about vaccines, the chat just descends into a huge, argument. I'm no virologist. What do I know? I think you're asking the wrong person. I would just rather not have the chat go, stupid. And conspiracy theorists. I mean, a lot of conspiracies do turn out to be true, don't they? But some people, like our good friend Sverige, they just believe every single one that comes along, and vehemently, and they don't realise how stupid that makes them look. And I heard a phrase that conspiracy theories are a way of dumb people feeling like an intellectual and that they know more than everyone else. But they're just very, very silly people. Plant-based powered. Is it okay to take a multivitamin twice a week, even if it's synthetic? Probably not, if anything, according to the data. The data seems to show no benefit more often than not. So it's a waste of time. But if it does do anything, it's far more likely to be doing you harm. And if you're eating a good diet, why would you put that in? I would say work on the diet. Kelly, how your days have changed, being peer pressured into chugging your protein shake. Oh, I'm such a wimp. Dirk Diggler in the house. Good to see you. Flapjack. Hey, Hench, any good recommendations on books that teach the benefits of plant-based eating? Thanks. Yeah, I've got a few. Loads have come out recently. I mean, How Not to Die has been out for ages. That's very good. That looks at disease prevention and treatment and potentially reversal in some cases. More recently, Dr. Gemma Newman's The Plant-Powered Doctor has come out. So she's like a GP and a senior partner in like a medical practice, and she talks about case studies and your own patients and the benefits. There's also Will Bulsevic's Fiber Fueled, all about the gut microbiome, which is really key to health. Similarly, another gastroenterologist, Alan Desmond, the 30-day. No, I'm thinking of the Sherzai's book now. Plant-Based Diet Revolution by Alan Desmond. And then there's Dean and Aisha Sherzai's book, The 30-Day Alzheimer's Solution, all about Alzheimer's disease, which is the fastest growing disease in the West. How to prevent that with a whole foods plant-based diet. All the latest science. Number one, which really surprised me, they said to avoid free sugars, worse than animal products for brain health. I was really surprised by that. All those books are great. They've all got great info. And they've all got loads of recipes as well. And they're pretty darn good. I don't think we've had a bad meal out of any of those books. Aslan, I wish you could make more debunking videos because I've already binged all the ones all the other ones already do. I just want more Hench. Bless you. Let me know if there's any videos that come out that I can respond to, because I'm normally at a loss for videos to make, so it'd be really good to hear of some. Suraj, Hench, do you think the UK will be 25% vegan by 2030? Where are we now? I don't think we really know. I think some estimates were about 3% a while ago, were they? Where are we now? 2021, 2030. Well, Dr. Rao, this very clever man who I'm just learning about, he reckons 2026, possibly 2025. I've not looked at his science yet, but I'm going to be learning about him over the next week or two. I want to say yes. I want to say yes, but I don't know. Do you know, if we will it and believe it and imagine it and feel it, it'll happen. Yes. 25% vegan by 2030. It's just, but once it starts, it is gathering momentum, and it's going to be like exponential growth, isn't it? Because one person tells 2, 2 tell 4, 4 tell 8. It multiplies up. So I'm very hopeful. Particularly with the new technology, like all the types of foods available. It's not like people have to eat just beans and rice, which would be a lot better for them. But let's face it, not everyone's going to be doing that. Ben, you guys, seems as though you guys are on this topic. I've been looking into the benefits of sun gazing. I'm definitely going to give it a go. It'd be cool to hear your thoughts, if any. I think it's madness. I think you can, if you damage your photoreceptors, they're not repairing. I believe it's complete. I'm going to say it, bullshit. I believe it's complete bullshit. When you say you've been looking into the benefits, like, are you looking at evidence? Are you looking at like published studies in peer-reviewed journals, or are you just reading what someone's written on the internet? I would really seriously encourage you to check your sources. It is good. The hour after sunrise and hour before sunset, it's good to get the light in your eyes. You don't need to be staring directly at it. And in fact, your photoreceptors are towards the bottom at the back of the eye. And that solar angle, that level of yellow and blue wavelength light, in the morning, it wakes you up. It ramps up your cortisol, which you do want at that time. We call it a stress hormone, but it's actually like a hormone of energy. And you want that ramp up in the morning. So it's good to get the sun in your eyes in the morning, within the first hour, ideally. Sunset, again, if you go outside, it's that angle, it's the intensity of the light. At that time, it tells the brain, oh, it's sunset, the sun's going down, and then it tampers down the photoreceptors. So if you have your lights on indoors or whatever, they don't affect you as badly as they would have done. It doesn't keep you up so much. Ideally, you'd have your lights in the floor so they're not hitting those photoreceptors in the bottom of the eyes though. But yeah, I've seen no empirical evidence. I've seen no peer-reviewed journal. I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist. I've not really looked. But I would imagine like just staring at the sun. I don't know what the benefits would potentially be. But I know if you hurt your photoreceptors, they're staying hurt. You're basically like blinding yourself. So I would be very, very careful. I'm not saying there are definitely no benefits because I don't know everything. But it sounds like madness to me. And certainly Sverige thinks it's a good idea. So I've got to think it's probably a horrible idea. I don't know. I'm going to humour you. PubMed. Boom. So we're looking at any published scientific research in peer-reviewed journals, basically. Sun gazing. Just type sun gazing. Sun gazing versus spectacles. Oh, okay. There's 30 results. There are 30 results. So, you might be lucky in one of those studies is saying, yeah, that's a really good idea. But no abstract available. Solo retinopathy secondary to sun gazing. Human phobia after sun gazing. Yeah, these don't look like the best studies, really. Long-term follow-up, serious. A lot of these are saying UVB radiation can cause phototoxic macular injuries in young people who have been sunbathing. Anyway, have a look through those studies. If there's something in there saying there's benefit, then I'd be more apt to believe maybe there is. But I would be so careful. I wouldn't be risking it personally. I just wouldn't be risking it. But what do I know? I'm no expert. Owen Samurai, is it better to measure how many people are vegan or to measure how many animal products are consumed? From the animal's perspective, the second. From the perspective of vegan vanity, the first. Alan, David Goggins talks about visualization. It's good to visualize success, but you can't just visualize it. You need to picture the journey and obstacles you need to overcome. Yeah, see yourself like smashing it. And there has to be some doing, doesn't there, as well? Owen, I saw on your favourite supplement you have creatine. I currently take it, but I'm not sure how to tell if it's working. If you know what your body weight's doing, say you're eating maintenance calories. So what you would do is you would come off it for a couple of weeks. Eat maintenance calories. So weigh yourself once a week after the loo, before you eat and drink, first thing in the morning. And you should see your body weight bump up a few pounds. For me, it's about 5 pounds. If that doesn't happen, you're a non-responder and you're wasting your time. If it does happen, it means you're pulling more water into your muscles, so you're volumizing them, making them more turgid, basically mechanically stronger. So that's the way to know. You should see a little lift in your strength as well. You know that your strength's going to come a little faster. Stacey, I manifested seeing my favourite band live, meeting them, and the lead singer actually singing directly to me from the stage. I did that by journaling, and what I wanted while in a high vibrational state. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Well done, you. I love it. Yeah, I've had a few little successes. I'm trying to bloody think now. Oh, yeah, I had a few successes, like manifesting stuff. And Gemma said to me, what do you want to manifest next? And for a joke, I said, I'm going to read the news on plant-based news. And I head out of the door and I went to the gym. I think I had either 1 or 2 clients that day. I think it was just one. That was a really quiet day. So I basically went out and came home again a couple of hours later to an email saying, would you like to present plant-based news? There you go. Oh, yeah. The most recent one, I mean, it's a little bit silly. But we were over the local park, and I think it was snowing. Was it snowing? Anyway, we were over the local park, and I told Gemma that I was going to manifest a snow fox. I just got an urge that I wanted to see a snow fox. And the next minute, like, we rounded the corner, and there was this dog. And I mean, it wasn't a snow fox, but it was the nearest thing. It looked very fox-like, and it was brilliant white. And Gemma was like just gobsmacked. It was brilliant. Super chat. Owen Samurai, you lovely man, generously donated £4.99 on the super chats. You the man. No question, he's just supporting and bigging up his local neighbourhood vegan YouTuber. What a great guy. I would like to shake you by the hand, Owen Samurai. Thank you so much. Vicky the Viking, you've got a good one there. Morpheus very generously donated $5 Whatever you put in your third eye will manifest. Well, that's good, because I've really been trying my heart out. Most mornings I'm doing some serious visualizations and imagine it happening. I'm like globe-trotting, reporting on veganism all around the world, meeting all my favourite vegan celebs and interviewing them and introducing them on stage and thanking them for on behalf of the people, the planet and the animals. I'm really playing it all out. I spend an hour and 11 minutes most mornings on this sort of manifestation type meditation. And great things are happening. We've had some really good news lately, and it's all super exciting. I can't talk about it, so shut up. But I'm very excited by life currently. Very, very excited. It could be all bonkers. I could be completely wrong. It could just be coincidence. But it feels to me like if you're doing good in the world and you've got a kind heart and you're trying to do good for others, and if you have belief and if you're passionate about what you're doing, if it's important, if it's like your life purpose, it feels to me as though the universe helps you out. But of course, I could just be one of those lucky people who's just having a bit of luck and so it's, what do you call it? Not confirmation bias, but it's just correlation and not causation. Who knows? Who cares? But I think it's possibly a thing. And then if I believe in it, and then I can manifest more great things, so I'll just keep going with it. I used to believe in all this stuff like crazy when I first went vegan, and loads of amazing stuff happened. And I turned my back on it because on the set of Game Changers, the producer was saying, we've sort of shied away from he didn't say spiritual mumbo jumbo, but he was saying words like love, compassion and peace. And, we're trying to appeal to this masculine demographic and make veganism sort of sexy and high octane, and this stuff will turn you into a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. And I really thought, maybe I need to go down the more science route. Maybe I need to bring camo into my marketing and, into my branding, shaved hair, beard, muscles, tattoos, trying to appeal. Not that I'm exclusive and I'm not trying to turn away females, but I think males are so underrepresented. And I think Game Changers, I thought, maybe I need to more target that. And I kind of turned my back on this spiritual stuff and lost sight of it. But recently I've become reconnected with it, and it seems to be doing the stuff. But what do I know? It could all be correlation. Of course, the more scientific among us will say if you can't measure it, it can't be true. But I find that slightly arrogant and short-sighted. Dark Forest, what do you think about fermented foods, kimchi, kombucha, etc.? I don't like the amount of salt that's in a lot of them, and that's possibly about the worst thing we can do to ourselves. But, you know, bacteria are great. I mean, we've already got good bacteria in our guts, and we need to feed them prebiotics rather than just putting in probiotics. Putting probiotics and no prebiotics, they're just going to die off anyway, like you're not putting the food in. And they come in on the food they eat. So legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, that's what we want to be eating. I think there can be benefits like kimchi, sauerkraut. Of course, it must be raw, unpasteurized. Any heat destroys bacteria. A good quality sauerkraut can have up to about 700 different strains of bacteria. You want as many different ones as possible. Whereas like the best quality probiotic like supplement capsule, you know, may have like 8, maybe 15 strains if you're really, really, really lucky. But 15 is not a lot. And there's no guarantee they're going to seed either. They should be like timed release, like capsules, I understand now. I wouldn't really bother too much with these things if you're eating a whole foods plant-based diet, unless you have like a harsh course of antibiotics or you overcome like an infection or something, like a bacterial infection. I can then see the point in trying to like really repopulate. But by and large, it's not something I worry about. Kombucha, not so much. I think it's so poor, it's so weak in terms of like the amount of bacteria in there. It's probably not really making a whole load of difference. It's better than what you're displacing, which would be like lemonade or whatever. But I don't see it as like a hugely health promoting thing. Most probably, opinions vary, but that's my take on it. Aslan, just being in the sun for too long is responsible for many different illnesses such as skin cancers. Yep. And increased aging. Yeah, I have got quite a lot of wrinkles really, and I have been a serious sun worshipper and sunbed user as like, you know, from my bodybuilding sort of days. Catherine, hi Hench. Recently heard Greg Doucette say you can build muscle in a caloric deficit as long as you have fat. Yeah, I can believe that. As long as you're not like losing weight too quickly. I think it's diminishing returns though, and I think a long-term trainee likely that wouldn't work so well on. I wouldn't have thought. I struggle even on maintenance calories now to like build muscle, let alone in a deficit. Anyway, I'm losing weight, so I think I'm in a deficit. You are indeed, but would like to build muscle. What do you think? I think if you're not in a rush, if you're more keen to lose body fat, I'd keep doing what you're doing and aim to lose no more than 1% of your total body weight each week. Say you were equal amounts like wanting to build muscle and burn fat, like say you didn't have a whole load to go. I would more err on the side of maintenance calories, so your body weight's not changing, and in that way you're more likely to achieve both, you know, build a bit of muscle, burn a bit of fat. I think even that for the masses is not sustainable long term, but particularly for someone who's undertrained or untrained, you know, relatively new to lifting, or like an advanced lifter coming back off a long layoff, it could probably work quite well for quite a long time for most people. So it's really just suck it and see, like just try it and see how you go and just be scientific, you know, and say you did want to try to build muscle and like lose weight, you know, just plot your workouts. And if your strength is slowly going up, great. And if you're losing weight and your strength halts and then starts to slide backwards, you'll know you're in too much of a deficit. Yeah, that would be the thing really. Eliza is here. Do subscribe to young Eliza, the vegan. She's blinking great, if you don't mind me saying so. Okay. As then, Hench, how much and what types of activity would you recommend for someone 80 pounds overweight and get making exercise after an incredibly prolonged period of time? I would say like three resistance training sessions a week, say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then 3 harder cardio sessions a week, say Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. On Sunday, I would do active recovery, so you're going for like a regal, quite a long but leisurely walk in nature, preferably something like that, just to restore yourself and keep moving so you don't kind of seize up. You know, and you just have to go by your own ability. If your hard cardio is like a 5-minute walk around the block and that leaves you knackered, that's fine for now. This week, do that 3 times. Next week, you know, do 6 minutes and just very slowly build. Whatever you're doing, like just do whatever is manageable. You want to be slightly uncomfortable, but you don't want to be so uncomfortable that by 2 days' time, you're too sore to like do it again. And just slowly, like over the weeks, you know, if you added on a minute every week, you know, in a year's time, you're doing like an hour's like power walking. Like that's some serious. Or maybe by then you lost enough weight and you want to be doing jogging or sprinting or, you know, and it don't have to be that. It's whatever you enjoy. Whatever you enjoy. For me, it was martial arts for the longest time. You know, I was so busy trying not to get my head caved in that I didn't realise how knackered I was. And yeah, I found that really enjoyable. And yeah, just progressive overload. So maybe like whole body training session 3 times a week, or whole body push, whole body pull, alternate. So you're doing like 1.5 sessions a week, if that makes sense. 1 week you're doing push, pull, push. Next week you're doing pull, push, pull. Did I say that right? Yeah, I did. Lifting wise, compounds, don't worry so much about like isolation moves, but think more like chest presses or dips, shoulder presses, pull downs, rows, squats, deadlifts, you know, these sort of big body movements that use a lot of different muscles. You can finish up with a little isolation work if you want to, but the meat of your workout should really be the compound stuff, because you're burning more calories. You're innovating more muscles, and more bang for your buck. They're harder work, so you need more energy sort of for those. And maybe you can do like an evening, like an extra bit of movement, say AM and PM. So do a hard cardio or resistance training AM. And if you've got time, PM, just do like a really gentle walk around the block or whatever it is. Just like, I don't know, 10, 20-minute walk, whatever's manageable and comfortable and not like exhausting. You don't want to be training hard like twice a day, but it's just good to be burning a few more calories and getting your body in condition. So, yeah, that's what I tend to do. Weights AM, hard cardio AM. I do hill sprints currently on my bicycle. In the evening, I'll go for a walk around the woods with the missus. And, yeah, it's quite restorative, really. But yeah, whatever you enjoy, but ideally some resistance training for your muscles and bones and some cardio training for your heart and lungs. I think everyone should be doing that. If you want to live a long, happy, healthy, functional life, then at least 3 times a week you owe it to yourself to move some weight and to move your body. Ben, thanks for your honest opinion, mate. I'll look into it a bit more before doing it, I think. Oh, bless you. Thanks for not taking offence at that. And it's so easy to read things, and people sometimes speak with such certitude. You know, people like Sverige and like, but it's complete nonsense that they're spouting. Really, I say, like, look at the science, look at the data, you know. And even when you read studies, like they're often funded by the industries that stand to profit from a favourable outcome. So if you want to know the truth about meat, don't look at a meat industry funded study, look at an independently funded study. And if you look at the data, you know, most studies are funded by the meat industry about meat, and they are 4 to 8 times more likely to find a positive outcome because they pay the money and the scientists are not stupid. Yeah, 90% of them are funded by that, and they're 4 to 8 times more likely. But the ones that aren't funded by industry, like, all show, like, no, it's killing you. Like, it's the number 1 cause of death in the West. Like, what are you doing? So, yeah. PubMed, PUBMED is a good source for like studies. Nutrition studies, nutritionfacts.org is very good. They make it kind of accessible for your layman. They cite studies as well, so the more academic among us can go and check up for themselves. So very good info. Tree Vegan. Positivity about veganism is essential to move us forward faster. It doesn't matter if your perception makes you think of this more pessimistically. Yeah, I like that. I can get down with that. Owen Samurai, where did you buy your Vital Wheat gluten? I'm struggling to find it. Like online stores like buyWholeFoodsOnline.com. I would think that they would, or .co.uk. I think somewhere like that would have it. The last one we got came from a shop in Norwich, from a vegan specialty shop. Health food stores should have it as well. But yeah, online is probably your best friend. Mark, veganism, white bread, is it really that bad for you? Yes, freaking horrible. Really horrible. It's so refined that it acts more like white sugar in the body. It just absorbs so quickly. It's lower in nutrients. It's often got like oils, salt, sugar. Can have palm oil, which raises serum LDL. Yeah, it's horrible. I wouldn't be in that. I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole. I wouldn't touch that with someone else's barge pole. Plant-based powered, is starch a natural laxative? I don't think it's a laxative, but it does come with fibre and resistant starch, which are very good for our digestive tracts. You should grow your hair out. No. I nearly did. I did this. I wouldn't do it now, but I did this Cambo frog ceremony thing. It's like these sort of plant medicines, like ayahuasca and whatever, but it's actually venom from a tree frog. You basically get burned, and then the shaman puts this venom into the burn, and yeah, you can be kind of like. I don't know how to describe it really. Almost like reborn. It's you get so near death, and then it's like you're sort of born again, and you just see things differently. And I suddenly realised, oh, I'm shaving my head to look tough. I don't need to look tough anymore. I'm not a doorman. Like, I want to connect with people, and I don't want to be scary looking. Why am I still shaving my head? And I let my hair grow. It got not very long. It just started to look like a mess. And I just didn't like it because it wasn't long enough to style, and it wasn't short enough to be neat. And I shaved it off because I just didn't like the way it looked while it was growing. But it's like I now shave my head just so it's neat. It's not that I'm shaving my head to look mean. Yeah. That was a funny old thing. I've started on spiritual mumbo jumbo now, so I'm going to tell you one more spiritual mumbo jumbo thing, and then I'm going to shut up about it for months on end. But during that ceremony, a lot of these kind of medicines, whatever you want to call them, the idea is that you set an intent, like what you want to get from the experience. And my intent was that I wanted to be more connected with spirit. And was it later that day or was it the next day? I can't remember now. I think it might have been later that day, but I was in the kitchen. This was around Gemma's dad's house. And was it? And I felt a cat like nuzzle my ankle, like brush it along my ankle, and I bent down to pet the cat. And there was no cat. And I just took that to be like it was like a cat that had passed on, like a former cat that I'd had that had passed on. I just took it that's what that was. Again, that could be a load of old nonsense for all I know. But I thought that was interesting. Aslan is off. Have a great day. Mark, why do people hate Durian Rider? I don't know. It does seem to be a bit strange from my perspective, but I don't really watch the guy anymore. You know, he's quite judgmental and nasty about people, isn't he? Like some people. It feels to me like a bit of a troll, just trying to like get views because he's sort of become a bit irrelevant. That's how it feels to me. But what do I know? I don't really watch him, and I don't really care. Aslan. Oh yeah. Oh, nice. Well done, Owen. Thanks for the heads up. Owen, Hench, you are a unit. No surprise you are struggling to build muscle at maintenance. Thank you. Yeah, I guess that's it. I've just been at it for so long, haven't I? Scuzz, do you put turmeric and black pepper in your smoothie? It tastes awful. I have done. If you've got enough volume of sweet fruit in there, you don't taste it. I put seaweed in there as well, and I don't taste that either. Stains in the house. Scud. Best bread. I eat whole wheat bread, but it says it contains salt and vegetable oil. Most commercial breads will have some salt and generally oil as well. I don't really know of a great commercially available one. You're probably better off making your own, really. Don't know if that Ezekiel bread is supposed to be pretty good. I think that's like sprouted bread. I don't know how much oil it might have, though. But I would really swerve palm oil. That's like the worst one. Jotaro, is that enough turmeric for the effects? Yeah, like a quarter teaspoon is what Dr. Greger cites. Because he cites that as a culinary dose and says, like, we don't have data to know whether like more than that is like healthful. I mean, it's could be okay, could be harmful in high enough doses. I mean, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like, you wouldn't eat that root on its own. So I'm not too sure. Oh, and the other thing is, I think turmeric powder is meant to have some sort of potential negative, like lead or something. And so Derek from Simnet Nutrition goes with the fresh stuff now. Salah Bano is in the hizzy. Dan, do you have any hobbies, pastimes outside of veganism, nutrition? I used to do some DJing, like hip hop DJing, but not in recent years. I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I got fed up with that, so I'm not really gaming now. Well, I'm not gaming at all now. Yeah, weightlifting. I see that as just an integral part of my lifestyle, though. Yeah, no, not really, Dan. I'm a bit boring. I'm a bit boring. Owen is off. Thanks for hanging out. Bye, Vicky the Viking. Thanks for hanging out too. Kitsune Chana. I think that's Indian for chickpeas. Are there any nutritional benefits from eating black olives? Curious every time I add them to a meal. Yeah, I mean, there'll be a lot of nutrients in there, but there's also a lot of salt in there, which is really horrible for you. So I wouldn't eat them on the grounds of they're nutritious, because like all other fruits and vegetables are equally nutritious and don't have that salt. Shaggy Rogers in the house. Good to see you. Vegan Realist. JB001. Scuzz, how much amla do you put in your smoothie? 1 teaspoon. And does it have anything bad like lead in turmeric? I don't think so. Apparently most Ayurvedic medications do have like heavy metals like lead in them. But amla is in most of their, or a lot of their medicines, and that's one that is safe. Dan's boring too. I'm glad it's not just me. Barry, will you be going to Vegan Camp Out? Hell yes. My first year should be a going. It's going to be fantastic. And if you'd like to meet up, Barry, we're doing a subscriber meet-up type dilly, either one or both of the days. So I've created a Facebook page, which I will now share. And we'll announce like on there, like where and when to meet. And yeah, if you want to come along, we'll do a big group photo and just all hang out and meet each other. I think that'll be fantastic. Plant-based powered, you're very kind. Salah, is there any vegetable with as much nutrition as liver? Probably all of them. On average, vegetables have 24 times the nutrients of like meat and like organs, 64 times the antioxidants. And liver has really toxic amounts of hemine, which is carcinogenic. It creates hydroxyl radicals. They're really horrible for you. Imagine there's a lot of toxins in there as well. It's what filters like all the crap out from the blood, isn't it? You're going to bob along. Good stuff. Plant-based pie. What's your favourite fruit? Mine's watermelon and pineapple. Yeah, really ripe watermelons and pineapples would be right up there. Honey mangoes as well. Papaya. Yeah. Shaggy Rogers, I'm trying to make a broth with celery, onion, garlic, and dried mushrooms for your chicken seitan recipe. That sounds very good. I'm sure that'll be delicious. I'm quite jealous, and you're making me very hungry. Plant-based powered. Is it okay to eat spirulina now? What do you mean, like as the science like changed since last time? My understanding is that spirulina typically is contaminated with something or other from most like places, and it does contain a neurotoxin, and so apparently the best advice is if you want to go with a blue-green algae, chlorella is probably the one to go for rather than spirulina. Scuzz, I have a receding hairline and I'm 17. Is there anything in my diet that could be causing this? I don't know why it's receding so early. You might just be unlucky, like genetically. You may have high amounts of like testosterone, which, you know, is kind of a good thing, depending on how you feel. But it could be that you've got a nutritional deficiency. How good is your diet? Do you eat solely whole plant foods, and do you supplement B12 and D3 in the months and take good care to balance your omega-3 and 6 and have seaweed or an iodine supplement? If you're not ticking all those boxes, yeah, you could be short on some nutrients. That means that's causing it, potentially. Do you know about chronometer? So I would invite you, let me... full screen. Oh, we're there already. Look at that. I would invite you to get on Chronometer, plug your foods in, and then look. There you go. There's all the nutrient readout. If anything is yellow or red, if anything's in the yellow, you're not at 100%. That could be your problem potentially. Choline, I wouldn't worry about as long as you've got your methionine, B12 and folate in order, because we do make some of that. So it's more like conditionally essential. Omega-6, I don't worry about getting that 100%. I think as long as it's about halfway, that's probably fine. But, you know, you do you. But, yeah, vitamins and minerals, certainly, like you want them at 100%. So if they're not, that could be the reason, potentially. Okay. So that's Chronometer. Chronometer. Boom. Okay. Joe Troy, I'm currently reading Start Solution, and he says salt isn't as bad as everyone says. Well, that might be his opinion, but is he right? Is he right? Dr. Gregor would certainly seek to disagree. I'd like it if it was fine, because I'd be smashing it in my food, because it certainly makes things taste a lot better. But, you know, it raises your blood pressure, which is a very top, you know, indicator of your longevity. Stomach cancer really sort of seriously raises your risk for stomach cancers. Blocks your expression of superoxide dismutase at the very time when you want that in the bloodstream. But yeah, I'd love it if you could smash that in, because that would certainly make food much more enjoyable. Guys, most calorie dense starch whole grain tuber foods. Don't know. So starches wise, it's going to be legumes or whole grains. Tubers, you know, are more water rich. Which are the most calorific? I don't know. That most of them are around the same. Like for a grain, about 75 grams of carbs per 100 grams, thereabouts, give or take. For a tuber, more like 50 grams of carbs per 100 grams, give or take. Yeah, it's not a whole lot of difference in most of them, I don't think. Scuzz, I use chronometer, tick all the boxes. What is the best omega ratio? So you want at least 3.2 grams of omega-3, and then you don't want more than 3 or 4x that in terms of omega-6. I've never had vitamin E at 100%. Is that bad? Yeah. Yeah, it's an essential nutrient. I eat avocados and almond butter, but still not full. Add in some wheat bran or sunflower seeds. Like, these are the highest foods. What was it you were asking about hair, wasn't it? I know vitamin E is involved in like skin, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was involved with hair health as well. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Mitch, can you rank the countries you've been to by vegan experience? Which are the most vegan, are you trying to say? I've not actually travelled much. I've been to Turkey. That was not very vegan at all. Where else have I been? Tenerife. That was before I was vegan. That was a lot of years ago. I didn't notice any vegan stuff, but I'm not sure that I would have done. Oh, actually, sorry, I went back in more recent years and it has become quite veganised. Yeah, that was pretty good, actually, Tenerife. For a little island, I was actually really surprised. Yeah, I tell a lie. Where else have I been? Not many places. I aim to put that right in the next year or two. I think that may be it. Oh, I went to the Caribbean, didn't I? St. Martin. But again, that was a long while before I was vegan. Chaggy, is the sodium in soy not... What? Muscle a problem like me say? I'm not sure what you're saying there. Shaggy, can you rephrase that, please? For my silly brain that's not got enough meat in it. Plant-based powered. Can clogged arteries make hair follicles fall out? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Jotro, he says it's because there's a ton of salt in processed foods and all the worst foods, but healthy food. But on healthy food, it's fine. So that doesn't... I mean, he's not quantifying that. So salt is bad if it's put in processed foods. So if you put the same amount of salt in, like, healthy foods, like, why is that then not bad? Like, that don't make sense to me. It's not like quantifying it. But yeah, I mean, it would be great. If it does turn out that it's fine, I'll be the first one like smashing it on. I don't profess to know it all. I don't know that we do know it all. I think there's a lot of science needs to still be done on things. Kat Chan brings up a good point. Chiang Mai. Dan, after we buy a house, the wife and I are definitely going to do some travelling. There's so much to see. Yeah, that'll be great, won't it? Plant-based powered. Is a little salt okay? Don't we need sodium? We do need sodium, but if you're eating a healthy diet, you'll get nearly all that you need just from your nutrition, and there's not much room. So according to Dr. Michael Greger, who is well into the science, you know, he really looks at all the data to see. He looks at every single English language nutrition science paper that comes out every year. This is why I tend to go with him above, like, you know, like a McDougall. Not saying that McDougall can never be right, and not saying that Greger's infallible, but I tend to go by him until I hear, like, you know, something really compelling. And he says 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day is probably like the most we really want to be eating. And if we look at, so I did a plan for a female on a small amount of calories, and I got her 123% of her sodium. So it was nearly 2 grams of sodium already, let alone 1,500, and that was with no added salt.
How long has it been like? About 5 days. Oh, it's just there, is it?
Gem? Oh, I'll shut it. That's right, no, you're right, I'll shut it. A man has arrived. Shaggy, sorry, is the sodium in soy sauce like miso not a problem? No, that is equally a problem. Supposedly in miso, like the fact that it's fermented offsets the harm, according to Dr. Greger, who I normally side with. But on this occasion, I'm suspicious. And I think, well, surely if that's like a health food, well, all these other things are health food. So if you put your salt there, like, why would that then matter? So I'm not sure that I side with Dr. Greger. Again, what do I know? What do we know for sure? Has enough science been done? And I would just rather not risk it for now until we know for certain. Tom, can I get pumped by just doing pull-ups and press-ups plus cardio with vegan protein? Can you, I guess you're trying to say, can you grow muscle? Pump generally refers to the muscles being full of blood after a workout and then they like deflate again. But I guess you're trying to say, can you build muscle just by doing pull-ups and bench presses? Yeah. You know, you'd be growing your lats and your chest and a bit of shoulders and triceps. Your legs will look like goddamn useless toothpicks. You'd be better to do a range of exercises for all the different muscle groups. If not, you're going to end up looking weird. Plus cardio. Well, you can build muscle without doing cardio. If you do cardio, you then need to eat more calories. You need to be in a caloric surplus. You need to be eating adequate protein. Whether you get that from protein powder or whole foods or both is irrelevant in terms of growth. However, if you want to optimize your health, I'd go more towards the whole foods. Summon you. Hey, do you need a thumbnail designer? I DM'd you on Instagram with my work. Bless you. Yeah, I never check Instagram, but I'll try and remember to go and have a look. And yeah, I mean, I would appreciate some help. I would appreciate some, but I can't pay anyone at the minute. We're not doing that like well enough. But yeah. But yeah, I'm always open to getting a bit of help. If I feel like people are doing a better job than I could, then I'd be all for it. Although I do enjoy a bit of thumbnail design, but yeah, I'm conscious that I'm probably not the best at it because I'm like self-taught. Scuzz, how much? And thank you, Saminu. That's very kind. Humphrey Bubbles. Yeah, we all get too much salt on our food. Dope. Scuzz, how much beetroot should I put in my smoothie for nitric oxide effects before my workout for the pump? I don't know. In terms of juice, 140 mils seems to be the dose for most people. I don't know what that equates to in terms of whole beetroot though. Woo. Thing with nutrition facts is most of the videos aren't specifically Gregor's opinions. He's mostly reading out medical literature, making it easier to understand. Yeah, I think that's his whole thing. He reports on the science and tries to be, unbiased as far as possible, I think. Yeah, he's just reporting what it's all about. I think, and his opinions are based on the science, so I think it's one and the same thing. Oh, god damn. Thank you, Kelvin Peters. You obviously watched the channel. Scaz, what's your tips on growing your lat? I've tried everything on the lat pull down to feel them, but my biceps always seem to take over. Don't start with lat pull down. Start with close grip rows, so you work the lower, weaker lats, and then finish up with something like wide grip pull down. And visualize levers, chains, and hooks. So don't like pull with your arm and innervate these muscles. Like push with your elbow, and this drags behind, and now you'll feel that muscle cramping, and you're not pulling from here. You don't want this to be flexing. Like all a lever can do is go straight down, and all the chain and hook can do is follow straight behind. So squeeze there, relax there, visualize. Right, I really better go. I need to get to the gym. Thanks, moderators, for keeping us troll-free. Thanks for the super chats, keeping the beans on my toaster, walls to door, and the cameras rolling. Don't forget our cookbooks are currently $4.99. Where do you get your protein? Virtuous vegan desserts. Very good books, very healthy. Support your girls in the gym. Have some delicious, like guilt-free desserts that are going to boost your health instead of kill you. Back on tonight, probably, maybe about 6 p.m. I'll try and get on. So come and hang out with me if you will. Have a fantastic day, and I love you guys very, very much. Have an awesome day. Cheers, guys. Bye for now.